Good morning or afternoon or wherever it is, whatever it is near you. This is the Crochet Foundry Live for the week. My name's Sarah Garner. I'm Sarah G on here. I am one of the mods for the Crochet Foundry Makes group. Jessie will be back for the lives next week, but you're stuck with me again this week. So hopefully everyone's having a great day. It is nice and bright and sunny in Texas today. We had a very cloudy day on Monday for the eclipse, but the clouds did clear enough so I was able to see the totality. And hey, Gabby, thank you. I have been hard at work this week. As you can tell, if you were on the live, if you watched the live from last week, I only had 3 bookshelves assembled, but my husband and I have been cranking them out. So I've got most of this, yes, this wall. It's hard to tell because it's like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out which side is which when I'm pointing at things. But now this wall is almost completely covered. I have got a large portion of my books up. I've got even some, yarny goodness kind of, there we go. I got some of my furls and some of my woobles hooks and a wooble that I did last night, which is a little pineapple. So yeah, thanks, Gabby. Oh yeah, that's right. I could do there we go. Yeah, so I've been hard at work putting books on there. I think I emptied like maybe 6 IKEA bags full of books. I know I have more books around the house too, so I'm still working. So didn't get too much crochet done this week, but I did, I did do 1 wooble. So there we go. Pina the pineapple. Yes, I love woobles. I mean, well, oh yeah, there I am backwards again. Yeah. So the leaves are a little curly, but I kind of like it that way. It's like she's got little hair. So yeah. So anyone that's on here, be sure to say hi. I am broadcasting to the Crochet Foundry group as a Crochet Foundry Makes group, as well as Crochet Foundry account on Facebook, as well as Jessie at Home on YouTube. So I apologize for folks that prefer to do Instagram lives. I don't have access to the Instagram account yet. So if I'm doing this ever again, then I will be, I'll hopefully have access to it at that point too. So yeah. So what is everybody working on this week? Anyone finish anything? Or get started on things? I, of course, started more whips. Do I do craft shows? No, I've not done a craft show yet. I am thinking about it. I need to make more stuff, and I'm not sure. Well, yes. Now, see, Gabby, hello, Gabby. If you guys don't know, she is the other mod for Crochet Foundry Makes Facebook group. And so she's my fellow mod, and she does craft shows, and she just debuted her magic pets that sit on your shoulder. They're super cute, so I suggest you guys check that out and see those. But yeah, they're little guys that stick to your shoulder magically. So yeah, you want to check those out because those are very super cute. So yeah, but yeah, aside from Pina the pineapple, I think that's the only thing I started and finished this week. But I have been doing some work. I did work. I started for those of you that were here last week, I was talking about the eclipse because that's the thing that's been happening. So there we go. My local yarn shop is called the Knitting Cup, and they were celebrating their anniversary on April 1st. And they actually got like a really cool, they decided to go all out with the eclipse theme. They actually did have people hang out at the store outside during the eclipse, and it was pretty sunny up there, so that's good. But I did start my eclipse cowl. It is corner to corner, but it's using that lovely yarn by Pearls and Postulates that was done especially for knitting cups. So yeah, so I've started doing that. Did not get that done in time for the eclipse, but that's okay. The sun doesn't care. So and I will be able to wear that over and over and over and over and over again. But yeah, prepping for a show is no joke. Yeah, I that's something I've been trying to decide whether I want to do that or not. I do want to, kind of get out in the community and stuff like that, but I need to make more things. So, I need to make, plushies. And then also, I love making like shawls and cowls and stuff like that. Being in Texas, there's some schools of thought are like, oh, well, no one wants any kind of cover ups or anything. But it's like, well, I kind of live in the air conditioning. So you kind of need it when you're cold. Yeah, I have been to many craft shows in my lifetime, because I've always been a crafty person. So my mom and I used to go to craft shows a lot. It's hard to do that now because I'm in Texas and she's up in Wisconsin, so we don't get to do much together, as much as I'd like to. But yeah, I've been to many craft shows. Of course, now that I'm going to craft shows, then I notice the crochet, and it's like, aha, let me look at that. And yeah, in fact, the last show that I went to that had crochet was actually, it's called Texas Frightmare, and it is a horror convention that they have in the Dallas Fort Worth area every year. And I went to it last year because there were a couple actors that I really wanted to get my picture with and stuff like that, and my husband did too. So we went to our first horror convention, and there was one booth that was crochet, and had a lot of really cute crochet plushies of horror icons and stuff. So because I'm in Texas, I bought a leather face. It had like a little wooden chainsaw, and it is so super cute. I don't have it here, but yeah, I have it in another room. But yeah, so I do like looking at it, and luckily she was pricing her stuff right. So I mean, it was fairly expensive, but that's the thing too, is like a lot of people underprice their stuff. Because the thing is crochet can't be machine made. That's, knitting can be, because there's knitting machines, and of course there's been industrial knitting machines for well over a century now, probably. And But you can't machine make crochet. It all has to be handmade, and so you have to budget in. It's hard to gauge because you want to cover your materials, but also you want to pay yourself. How long did it take for you to make this? Don't pay yourself less than minimum wage, kind of thing. But yeah, we're the machines. It's absolutely right. Hey, Monique, how's everyone doing today? Monique, were you in the path of totality? Or I think you were close, right? For the eclipse on Monday? Yeah, because it was the totality was really cool because we were out in our backyard and we had our glasses and stuff, and so we were looking up at the sun, and there was a lot of cloud cover. It was blowing through really fast though, so we didn't miss any of totality. We had 2.5 minutes, I think, of totality, something like that. Yeah, yeah. So Monique was close to the totality there. But it was so cool because when totality started, it was already the light was starting to get kind of weird when it was just that last little tiny bit of sun. But when the totality happened, it just turned dark, and like all of our solar powered lights in our backyard went on, and the neighbor's dog did bark a little bit because confused, but stopped for a bit. But it was just so neat and quiet, and it got a little bit colder too, and so it's kind of like, wow, you kind of think about when well, what I thought about was just like, how would this have been, to ancient peoples, and stuff like that don't know about the movement of the sun and the stars and the moon and all that and sun and everything, and to be that witnessing that. But then also I was thinking about, like, because I'm a nerd and I was super well, I've always been super into dinosaurs, but when I was a little kid, like, the first thing I wanted to be aside from a vet was a paleontologist, because I've always been a super nerd about dinosaurs. So, but I was thinking about, like, just that little bit of couple minutes of the sun being blocked out cooled down the weather, and so it cooled down the temperature. And I was thinking, when the meteor hit and caused all that dust and covered the sun for a long time, just think of how cold it got here. Jeez. So I don't know. It makes you think. Yeah, in Toronto we were at 99.8%. So yeah, that is very close. So yeah. Yeah, we should have crocheted a close sweater. I was thinking about it, and I was trying to do those coasters and stuff, but man, I just can't get past the Lily Sugar and Cream, how just, like, harsh it is. You're just like, this is no fun to make. So I didn't make any more coasters. I will eventually. I'll just, force myself to get past that bit and get to the nice cotton. But yeah, however, in Toronto, just before totality happened, we got massive cloud cover. So all we got to see is that it went from night to day. We got a sunset. Yeah, that was a cool thing that I didn't realize happened, is that you get like a sunset all around the horizon. Now, us being in our backyard, we couldn't really see horizon from where we were. If we were like out in a field or something like that, we would have seen that. But we didn't encounter that ourselves because we were in our backyard. So, but yeah, there's a lot of places with cloud cover. Um, yeah, and yeah, it does hurt with that yarn, man. I wish that yarn was, um, ooh, Bernat Handicrafter is the same as Lily. I have not seen the Handicrafter yarn. I'll have to look that up. Huh. I've got my. Let me just look. Um, let's see what that's like. Bernat Handicrafter cotton yarn. Okay. Huh. And you can buy some solids, and they are 4. Okay, cool. I'll have to look at that. I'm trying to get more into cotton. Oh, that was something I was going to talk about earlier. Was with the shows, it's just like with Texas. My mom was talking to someone that she saw at a craft show, and they're like, "Oh yeah, my daughter sells in Texas, but she can only sell bags because that's all that they will buy down there because everything else it's too hot." And it's like, well, there's air conditioning, there is winter, and if you're from around here, I always I always joke about how thin everyone's blood is down here, because as soon as it turns like 60 degrees, everyone is in their winter stuff. Whereas me, I'm like, well, I'm from Chicago. It's like it's still shorts weather for me, so cool. So yeah, everything I make that relates to there we go. Relates to the kitchen, whether it's pot holder or washcloth, that's what I'm using here in Canada. It's widely available. Yeah, worsted weight, just like Lily. So yeah, because I was just when I bought it, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to make a whole bunch of these coasters, so I need to get a cone. And so really, the only cone that I could find was Lily, and so obviously I didn't really need that much, because I mean they're coasters, so you don't use that much. But I wasn't thinking about it. I was thinking, oh, I'm just gonna this way I'll have plenty of yarn. And oh, I got plenty of yarn too. So yeah, it looks like there's a lot of colors. Just let me see if I can find. There we go. I'll share my screen here in a moment. Oh, actually, let's see here. Nope, I'm not sharing. Let me stop screen. Let me present. I'm learning all these StreamYard things here. And so, I'll do entire screen two. There we go. All right. So, Yeah, so I went to Your Inspirations, and here is the Bernat Handicrafted cotton yarn. So they have, thanks, Your Inspirations, cool. Um, there we go. So we've got the Handicrafter. There's clearance shades. Oh, two shades. Oh, hot orange and emerald. Those are my wedding colors. Why are those the two clearance shades? Well, maybe it's a sign that I need to, but here's just this one's 400 gram. This one's the regular. It's got 20 shades available. So, yeah, let's look because I'm always nosy about that stuff. Um, okay, you're going to show all of the colors. Uh, view all. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got white, we've got off white, then there's this color, that French blue that's out of stock. We got some pale yellow. Yeah, so it's pretty good. Black licorice, overcast. Yeah, just like the weather for most people on Monday. Country red, robin's egg. So yeah, got like quite a bit of blues. Yeah. And so let's see, 249, and it is what is the and you get it's 50 gram, you get 80 yards. So yeah, that's not bad. All right. So I also wanted to share too. I don't know who's on this week. I see that there's 6 people watching, but I don't know who else is watching. I've seen Gabby and Monique check in. Please check in and let me know who's here. But I did want to share last week. Cindy was talking about this Irish lace that she was doing, and she posted on the Crochet Foundry Makes group. So I just wanted to share this because it is gorgeous. I mean, there it is on the form, and then there it is laid flat. But look at that. That's freeform crochet. That's, yeah, it is absolutely stunning. And this is what I was saying. You can't make this with a you can't make this with a machine. But I mean, that's just amazing. You put all these different kinds of popcorn and just all sorts of different stitches all over wherever you feel like. And it is gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah. So hope Cindy's here today. But yeah, I wanted to show that off because it was just so gorgeous, and I'm so glad she shared it too. So yeah, but I wanted to show that off because I was so happy she posted it. So yeah, and as a reminder, make sure that you post stuff that you're making, especially if you're making any of the Crochet Foundry patterns. Post that in the Crochet Foundry Makes group, so we can. I hope to eventually be doing more. Well, like I need more whips, but that's how it always is. But I still need to do. I am still really thinking about doing those that vine necklace, the with the flowers and stuff. I was looking at the construction of it the other day, the pattern, and you make the flowers first. So I was thinking I could make, I've got also like a lot of other. I've got like a whole book of crochet flower patterns too. So I was thinking, so of course that is another lovely thing I love about crochet too, is it's so versatile too. You're not, stuck in a pattern. I mean, you can follow a pattern and patterns are amazing, but there's also a lot of wiggle room. So like if you make a make a mistake, you can either frog it or you can use that as a design feature. So Gabby says, I would love to see a post introducing themselves and their favorite project. Yes, that is a great idea. And Gabby, if you want to, you could go ahead and post um, a post on the Crochet Foundry Makes group, which I hope you all are all members of that. Go ahead and join it if you're not already. Gabby or I will go ahead and approve you right away because we are the mods, so we can get you in there. But yeah, if you could go ahead and start a thread, then yeah, that'd be a great thing to introduce yourselves and favorite project, because we have had a lot of new people joining the group lately. So I think that would be it's a great time. It's never a bad time to introduce yourself anyway, and just talk about your favorite project or projects to work on. I mean, like even if I went back to Cindy's post here, if you see, she's also got a really lovely granny square blanket there too. So granny squares are something I worry about. They're very pretty, and you can make just gorgeous granny squares. But then it's the joining part. It's the thing that kind of holds me back from finishing blankets is I tend to get bored. So that's why I really like amigurumi and like shawls and shawlettes and stuff like that and cowls because they're quicker makes. But the thing is though is that I know that I will when I finally finish a blanket, I will feel really accomplished. But I just have to get there first. But yeah, I have a couple of blanket projects on the hooks in bags, um, scattered about. So I do need to get going on that. But yeah. Anybody here big Granny Square fans? Oh yeah, Monique, she's got 3 almost done. Almost done. Yeah. You got to push yourself to just get over that hump of like, yeah, it's there, but you just need to go. Aha, yay! Gabby has posted in the group. So if you're not already a member of the Crochet Foundry Makes group on Facebook, go ahead and join that. Gabby and I will, if you're not in it already, Gabby and I can approve you to get in there and yeah, and go ahead and join that post. And oh, yeah, I'm with you, Monique. I get bored easily on stuff. And so, the thing is too, is it's kind of like I have to remind myself that yeah, okay, I'm maybe doing the same stitch pattern or something like that. I mean, that's kind of like the good thing about granny squares. You can do all sorts of different granny squares and different colors. And there's such a big variety of that, but then you gotta join it. That's the part that worries me. But yeah, Gabby made a chicken with granny squares. That's cool. I have seen there's a really cool pattern I've seen. I was talking about dinosaurs earlier. My favorite dinosaur is the Triceratops. And totally not because my name is in the name of it, but this is kid logic anyway. And I just kept with it because Triceratops are really cool. But I've seen a gorgeous pattern on Ravelry, or no, not on Etsy, that uses granny squares to make a Triceratops, and I'm like, that I am going to do that one of these days. So yeah, but yeah, yeah, I've been telling dad jokes since I was really little, so I appreciate good dad jokes. Yeah, the ends kill my motivation, and yeah, nice. See, your daughter has great taste. Yeah, although I remember, see, I was a kid when Land Before Time came out. You can tell how old I am at that by that, but I remember the Triceratops, of course, named Sarah, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. And then I found out that it was spelled like Cera. And I'm like, well, that's spelled wrong, but guess I'll allow it. So, yeah. All right. So, what is your favorite stitch? So, what is everyone's favorite stitch? Go ahead and post in the comments. My favorite stitch, I love a good half double crochet. It's just, and it's quick and it's squishy. I also really love trebles or triples. So, because I just like because I do a lot of things with double crochet. And it's like I like double crochet just fine, but there's just something so satisfying about the pull two, 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 and I like that. Yeah, half double crochet. Yep, great minds think alike. Yep, I knew what you meant. Yep. So yeah, what's your favorite stitch, Gabby? Yeah, although, the thing is, I love the texture that you make with half double crochet when you crochet in that back loop. um because then it makes the V's on the top flip forward. I've made there's a really cool well, there's a couple things I've made using that texture, but I do love that effect of crocheting in the back loop of the third loop of the half double crochet on the back side of the work, and then it just makes the whole, like, the V's of the previous row, this way. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's I think the best part about the double crochet is that third loop, man. So yeah, I do like that texture. Or I love that effect. So yeah, and that's something too. Um, you might I don't know if that's herringbone or not, because I mean you can make a herringbone effect with it, but I think herringbone is more like, well, 'cause it's kinda more, let me see if I can, let's look at herringbone stitch and see, let me say crochet. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, there's a bunch of, okay, so I just went over to, let me share my screen here. So I went over, I Googled and came up with yarn theory here. So Stitches 101, the herringbone single crochet stitch. So yeah, so it's a 2-row repeat, and you start with regular single crochet or reverse single crochet, which I've never heard of. But then I'm new still. I've only been doing this a year. So uh, let's see, insert hook under the vertical bar of the previous single crochet. So it's all single crochet. Huh. So yeah, it's not done with the half double crochet at all. It's done with single crochet, or at least this method. But it is still giving you that, instead of like the actual full V, you get like more of like a chain effect on the front. So yeah, or it's an effect of the half double crochet loop. And yeah, one way is herringbone and the other row would be different. Oh yeah. So maybe, yeah, one row is third loop and then the next row is different. Ah, reverse single crochet is the crab stitch. Well, that sounds fun. I like crabs because I always speaking of dad jokes, I love like there's this little onesie that I got from my first nephew back when he was born, and it had crab on it. It says, "I'm a little crabby," and I love that kind of stuff. But anyone who tuned in last week knows me that I'm a sucker for a funny name. So, aha, there is a half double crochet version. Okay. So, and MJ Off the Hook has a tutorial on how to do it as well. Yeah, I didn't want to go into YouTube because, of course, there's a lot of videos, but I didn't want to get into videos. I thought maybe it'd be better just to find like something that had like a visual. But yeah, so that's, well, and actually she does call it herringbone single crochet stitch. So I'll bet you there is another one. Let's see. I don't know if she's got like Stitches 101. She's got classes and stuff too. Well, I assume I'll say they, since I don't know for sure. But yeah, but there's probably something here about all sorts of, oh, that is a cool, I love that stitch, the jasmine stitch. I have not made anything with jasmine stitch, but I want to because it's just really pretty. So, all right. Well, I'm falling down a rabbit hole, which, That's not hard to do with crochet. Thank you. Uh, yeah, beautiful stitch. Yes, Bag Day Crochet has a really gorgeous beanie tutorial that uses the jasmine stitch, and that's the one actually that I've been looking at. It's like I want to do that. I think Bag Day is a really good teacher. I've done a couple shawls of hers, and she's very easy to follow because I tend to be more of a visual. Well, I'm kind of a visual and doing kind of learner. So YouTube tutorials are great for me. Yeah, so crochet your yarn theory. It's let me just post a comment here. The website I went to was yarn. Uh, it's got a let's see. There we go. It says it's from Jessie and from Crochet Foundry, but it's me. All right, so there you go. So yarn the three eerie. There we go. Yeah, rabbit holes. I fall down those a lot. So, and me, I love to learn everything I can about something too. So that's why this past year has been all crochet all the time. Jasmine stitch is my all-time favorite. However, can never make it consistent, so I had to really practice that one. Yeah, well, and that's a good thing, especially if it's a favorite. Then, oh darn, I got to practice something I enjoy. So, yeah, and Monique is 100% visual, so I have to see how to do it in order to comprehend how it's done. Yeah, exactly. YouTube has been amazing. Are you working Christmas gifts yet? I have thought about that because it was too late in the year for me to really do Christmas gift. In fact, well, I did one Christmas gift for my sister-in-law last year, and Monique will know the pattern because it was from Vicky Howell's Yarnier subscription box that unfortunately ended last year, but or well, at the end of last year. But it was this gorgeous pattern. It was a sign pooling, and it was let's see. So it's a sign pooling, and it used this gorgeous yarn. It was by Dream in Color, and it was their smooshy cashmere, and it was Violet Fields, possibly was the name of it, but it was kind of like a tonal green, and then it had these pops of purple in it. And the knitting pattern was absolutely gorgeous. I don't knit though, so I'm like, but this is actually it kind of dovetails nicely into what we were talking about earlier with like favorite stitches. That it used the half double crochet in the back loop, and that was how you were doing the assigned pooling. Is you would do the instead of like doing just I think just I forget how exactly it was, but there's something where you're doing like just kind of regular stitches for the green, and then whenever you hit purple, you'd be doing the back loop, or you'd be doing, you'd be doing something different depending on whether you were on the front side of the shawl or the back side of the shawl or shawlette, because it was kind of small. So, but yeah, I made that. I made actually two of them because because I wanted to make it first for myself so that I can get all of my mistakes out, and then I'll make a better one for my sister-in-law. So that's what I did. So I did it twice, and I got that done. Early on, so that was like May, I think May or June was the box, and so I started working on that right away, and it was fairly complicated for a beginner like me, but it was one that I didn't get frustrated with, luckily. So because I noticed, some patterns I'll try anything, and if I just am not feeling it, or if it just I don't get it, or I am not getting it, then I will just kind of like let's put that over there for a bit, and I'll build some more skills with something else. And then when I come back to it, it's like, what was what was the big deal? It was really easy to figure out. So yeah, the Yarnier one. And yeah, the pattern it had, so for the knit pattern, it made little florets or flower little tiny flowers of each of the purple, and I'm like, So I kind of want to do like kind of make my own just crochet version and just do either, I don't know, I could do puff stitches, but they wouldn't be flowery enough really. So I was kind of even thinking of maybe doing like little picos and doing a bunch of little picos or something. And oh, that's okay, Monique. Nah. But yeah, it was but yeah, you wanted to have the so instead of like, having the pop of the florets like the knitting pattern did, the crochet one did more with texture. So it's like, so you had a more sticking out texture for the purple. It did turn out very lovely because it's gorgeous yarn. So yeah, getting those mistakes out are vital to important projects. So yeah, that's exactly why I wanted it, because it's like, well, you know what? Also, this is gorgeous and I can wear it and I've worn it a lot. So yeah, in fact, it's in my LinkedIn profile, which I have to change because that's when I had red hair. So now I got blue hair. So I'll need to change that again. But actually, speaking of cotton yarn, I think there was one of the boxes from Vicky that had a cotton yarn. I think it was Wool in the Gang or something. And it feels incredible. Like I could not make coasters with it because it felt so nice. Yes, it is Wool in the Gang cotton yarn. That is a really nice feeling cotton yarn. In fact, Bag o' Day, speaking of her, she talks about like with cotton yarn, it's like, she kind of categorizes cotton into two basic categories. Like one is like, okay, yeah, that cotton yarn, that's good for dishcloths and washcloths and kitchen stuff and bath stuff. And then there's cotton yarn that's like, this is a wearable cotton yarn, so this is great for wearables. And yeah, that Wool in the Gang, there was not only was there the little red bag with the embroidery Yarnier box with that Wool in the Gang red yarn, but I also did she had like a Christmas alive, like kind of like wasn't so much a get together. It was like a day class. So what you were doing was you're making like a little tiny Christmas tree skirt. And so so you had to do like the basic one, which was in that Wool in the Gang red cotton yarn again, which is such a pleasure to work with. That is a really nice cotton yarn. Um, and you made like the basic one, and then you were doing embroidery of like Christmas trees or whatever you wanted, stars, whatever you wanted to put on your skirt, beads as well. You're doing a border with beads. It was really cool. I have to finish that one because I wasn't sure if I was going to put more than one tree or not, and then you run out of time because, well, I tend to talk, so I was doing more talking than stitching. I don't know how anyone would know that I do that, but yeah. Yeah, the online get together class. Yeah, she had a Halloween one, and I couldn't because that was the same weekend as the best little, um, I think it was the same weekend as the best little yarn crawl in Texas, which is a yarn crawl that happens every, yeah, I think it was, yeah, it was either that or there's also like a Fiber Fest that I went to last fall too. But yeah, I live in the Austin area, and there are within the larger like Austin and San Antonio area, which San Antonio is about, depending on traffic, an hour and a half or so away from Austin. So not far. We're pretty close. But there's, I don't know how many. I think maybe there's like 12 or 13 shops that were participating in the yarn crawl, and it was like over 2 weekends, and of course the week in between. And so I went to a whole bunch of yarn shops that I didn't know existed, and it was great. And I stayed under budget, except there was a couple places I was at or a little over, but then I was under budget at other shops, so I was okay. But yarn crawls, if you ever have a chance to do a yarn crawl, those are amazing because you get to go to these shops. A lot of times you'll have like a passport or something like that to get a sticker or a stamp on, and you can be entered to win prizes for completing those. Each store will have, a lot of them will have trunk shows. So they'll have like specials, and then they'll have a special on a certain kind of yarn. So it's like, this one had a special on Barocco. This one had a special on Malabrigo, and which that was my first fancy yarn. Well, fancy yarn. So I love Malabrigo, and yeah, love working with a fun yarn. Yes, man, the yarn makes such a difference. So that's why I still haven't gotten those coasters done. It's just like, oh, it's just awful. I mean, I'm using my metal streamlined furls, which I love using, but it's like, man, even with a hook that I love, I just can't. Ugh. So yeah, absolutely. When I get that finished off, I'll post that. So that'll be another thing. That'll be another Christmas thing to do in not Christmas, like way before. But yeah, some of those things, especially if you know yourself and yeah, I'm not going to get this done in a weekend. If you start now with like gifts and stuff for the end of the year, you're good. Um, yeah, a lot of things happen in Texas. It's a very big place. So there's also like, I know there's a yarn crawl that happens in the Dallas Fort Worth area, DFW area. I know there's an East Texas yarn crawl. There's like something happening in a couple weeks, no, maybe a week now. Like not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. There's the Yellow Rose Fiber Festival or something happening in Seguin, Texas, which is home of the largest pecan. They actually have like this big pecan statue for some reason in front of like City Hall or something. Why? I don't know. But it's there. You can get your picture taken next to it and stuff. But that has a really cool yarn shop called, oh, darn it, I can't remember it. But they do a lot of like classes and stuff. They have a lot of like kids classes, which is cool. And it's not just yarn stuff, but it's all kinds of crafts. That's the place that had the alpacas that showed up, and I bought. There's the yarn shop is called, or the yarn brand is called the Painted Alpaca, and man, alpaca is so soft. I love that yarn. Do I have specific hooks for specific yarn? Yes. If I'm doing amigurumi, well, so with Woobles, a lot of times the Woobles kits will come with like, sometimes you can get away with getting a Woobles kit that doesn't have a hook, and some of them have special hooks. So like, for instance, yeah, so here's a Woobles hook that came with a Snoopy kit. So it's sorry, it's white, so it's kind of bright, but yeah, there we go. But yeah, so what I will tend to do is I will use the Woobles hook for the Wooble that I'm making. But otherwise, for amigurumi, I will use. I have a couple odysseys, but I prefer the metal streamline that just came out. So, and I just got the two little ones too. The 3.5, 3.75, I think, are the sizes. Yeah, so I prefer to use those for amigurumi because I know that I crochet tightly. And so I don't want to. That's one thing that scared me about getting frills at first, because I got, well, there's my full set of Leo, although I've got one out for a project right now, but I'm a Leo, so I had to get the full set. But I love the streamline resin ones, but I was so terrified of like breaking them. So I kind of enjoy using them for just like any kind of yarn, because they're really good for being mindful about like not being too tight or anything. I'll use the metal stuff for amigurumi because I know I go too tightly with amigurumi and I'm going to break something. So if it's metal, I'm pretty good. If I am working with Trubu or any kind of slippery yarn, I've got to use wood. Otherwise, I don't really like wood so much because it does tend to catch on yarn. But I always use the that for Trubu. And yeah, collector is the proper term. It's not hoarding if it's yarn. You guys have probably seen that meme. So yeah. Oh, we're having Fiber Fest in Southern California, November 2024. Yay! That's going to be awesome. If you guys have a chance to go to a Fiber Fest as well, those are pretty awesome too, because it's like a craft fair, but it is just for yarn, and they've got like different yarn accessories and stuff. So there'll be like people, like when I went to the Fiber Fest that was in Kerrville, uh, Texas, which is Kerrville it's very much out in the country, so it's very agricultural there. So I mean, that's why they started, because they were promoting Texas wool and stuff like that. So so there that those Fiber Fests, a lot of times they will have the animals there too. So you can see all the animals, and then you'll see all the yarn vendors. And sometimes the yarn vendors come from all over the place too, but you'll get to see a lot of local ones that way too, and learn about local yarns that, if you want to get like, hey, this is a dyer that like lives in the town next to me, cool, I can support some local artists, so it's great to do that. But there's also like yarn shops will come and they'll set up, so they'll have like a wide variety of stuff, and they usually have specials on things. Sometimes they'll have, like with those yarn crawls too, sometimes they'll have specially dyed yarn specifically for that yarn crawl. For instance, when the yarn crawl was happening last October, beginning of October, end of September, around then, we had an eclipse during it, as well as a partial eclipse. So it wasn't like the total eclipse that we just had on Monday, but there's partial eclipse that day. And so one of the yarn shops had a special that was actually dyed specifically for them by Dream in Color. That was a white and black one, and it was assigned pooling for eclipse. I've not made anything with that, but I think what I'll probably do is I'll probably do a puff stitch for whichever is the assigned pooling. So that'll be either an eclipse or that'll be the moon. Well, either way, it'll be the moon. So yeah. Catching up on comments. Monique says, I change my hook, depends on the yarn, but really want to try these Woobles. Snoopy, yes. In Canada, there are, I forget what the names of the stores are, but there's Woobles are available in the stores, in some stores up there. So if you look, I think if you go on the Woobles website, woobles.com, or thewoobles.com, I think possibly, then they'll do stockists, and you can see where they stock them by you. But a lot of the stores have had the Snoopy. And yeah, I got Snoopy and I got Woodstock. So they came out with both of them. So yay. So yeah, Woobles are great. I really love the Woobles. Furls hasn't done Libra yet. Yeah. Libra, Scorpio, and Cancer are the three zodiacs that they have not come out with yet. But from what I hear, I think they're coming out with all three this year. So yeah, my dad was a Libra. My husband's a Scorpio, and my father-in-law was a Cancer. So yeah, I'm a Leo. What a surprise. Oh, yeah. Not only am I a Leo, but I'm a dragon. So I'm just, yeah, I'm a mess. Trubu can only be used with wood. Yeah, because I started out a project with Trubu, and I was just using my regular, my regular Furls resin hook, and it's just like, man, it's just slipping all over the place, and I can't get, like, I'm splitting things because I can't get it in right because it's slipping all over. Ugh. So yeah, they're so fun. Still knit heavy, but they're crochet gems. Yes. That's another problem with some shops too, is that in fact, I have a friend. He said, he and a friend walked into a local yarn shop, and they were wearing like granny square cardigans and stuff, and the owner or whoever was working there just said, "Oh, here comes the crocheters." Like, crochet uses more yarn than knitting, so we have to buy more. So honestly, should cater to us. Just say. Yeah. The Fiber Fests are pretty cool. And of course yarn crawls are great if you can. So yeah. And I mean, some of these things too we made an actual effort to go to all 13, I think, of the stores. And so we did like spend the night outside of San Antonio and stuff like that. So we weren't like driving home and driving all the way. So yeah. Yeah. Los Angeles doing yarn crawl soon. Venture, California will be in the fall. Cool. Yeah. Cause I would think that, there's a lot of places in California, I'm sure in the Bay Area as well, There's a ton. I know Oregon had a yarn crawl not too long ago because if you guys subscribe to Nitty Natty on YouTube, she goes to a lot of yarn crawls, and she also just goes to yarn shops. So it's really cool to watch, and she's just like fun to watch anyway. She does primarily knitting, but she does do a lot of crochet. In fact, she's working on a crochet blanket where she'll buy a mini skein or a full skein of yarn from all these shops that she goes to, and then she will make it up into. She's doing a hexie blanket, and just using the cool yarn that she got, and so that's crochet blanket. But yeah, there is a large shipping cost. Yeah, for the Woobles, they ship out of North Carolina, North or South Carolina, one of the Carolinas out there, and it is a really high shipping cost to Canada, unfortunately. But you might be able to luck out and find it near you too. So keep an eye out. Yep, yeah. Pam said that we're finishing the zodiac this year, so fingers crossed. Um, I told my husband, my husband's a Scorpio, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to get Scorpio, right? And he's like, well, only if you want to. And I'm like, well, if it's pretty, yeah, I'll get the Scorpio. Oh, thank you. Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, a Leo and a dragon would be a fantastic mess. So before I used my wood hook and realized Trigger needed it. I'm guessing you mean True needed it. Felt like I was knitting, actually starting crocheting with spaghetti. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? We use more yarn, and crocheters are really cool. Not that knitters aren't cool, but some knitters are not cool about crocheters. So there's actually a funny video that Coco Crochet Lee did on Instagram that was kind of like crocheters think that knitters are their friends, and knitters are kind of like, so yeah, crochet patterns use more yarn than knitting. I didn't realize that when I started out, when I was deciding, well, do I want to do crochet, do I want to do knit? And I heard, oh, you can like uh alter crochet a lot better. I don't know if that's true or not, but you can definitely frog crochet a lot better. um well, hey Monica, nice to see you. So we were just talking all about yarn and yarn hauls and yarn crawls and fiber fests and eclipses and just all over. I'm all over the place all the time. Yeah, true root, not trigger. Yep, autocorrect is amazing. I knew what you meant. So yeah, but so Monica, what are you working on? Yeah, it has been almost an hour. I always have to watch the time because it's like I can just keep on talking. Uh, Especially when I'm comfortable with people. I mean, I know Gabby and I know Monique. And hey, Monica, it's nice to see you too. But I don't know. When you're talking about stuff that you enjoy, I have no problem whatsoever being on camera or anything like that. I was one of my old jobs was being a trainer, and I never. It's funny because as a kid, I had awful stage fright because I used to be a musician as well. I used to play the flute and also bassoon and stuff like that. And I always had really bad stage fright. And I would never take a speech class if I could avoid it. Sometimes you can't avoid them, but yeah, just getting up in front of people was awful. And then I became a trainer through some shenanigans, and I found out that it's like, oh, well, when you're talking about something that you know what you're talking about, it's not so bad. And also, I just love explaining things. So that works. Yes. Time flies by when you have fun. Yep. So yeah, I hope everyone else is having fun. I'm having a lot of fun. So, but yeah, I do tend to ramble on. I know. And especially like one of these days, well, if I'm watching these lives, I do try to do crochet, but I know if I'm actually hosting the live, there's no way I'm going to be able to actually crochet and talk and see comments and do all of that. Aw, thanks, Gabby. So I try. And I think also it's just part of getting older too, is like, it's not like I don't care what people think about me, but also I know who I am more than I used to. So I'm just like, well, some people will like my rambling and some people will not, and that is okay, because that's just who I am. So yeah, but I am enjoying myself. So it's been a lot of fun doing the lives with you guys and having conversations and talking about stuff we love, namely yarn and crochet, and yeah. So, but I am hoping to get going on the projects of doing like also, if you follow on YouTube, I recommend a Finnish crocheter. Well, she also knits and sews as well, but her channel is basically all crochet. Um, but her name is Tula Maria. It's Tuula, and then Maria is it's like Maria, but it's two A's as well, I think. And she just put out a tutorial for a really cute banner, crochet banner that she has across the back of her studio space there for her YouTube videos. Really pretty and very easy to do, and with like lots of different colored yarns and stuff like that. I really like her stuff, and I got into her because my mom's side of the family is Finnish, and so I have like a lot of Finnish relatives, and I just love listening to her because it's like, oh, I get to hear that Finnish accent. So yeah, I recommend her for YouTube tutorials. She's good at tutorials as well. But yeah, there's so many good tutorial videos out there, and people that are really good at teaching, and like Expression Fiber Arts. When I was first starting out, I found her videos very hard to follow because I just didn't I had to like basically stop after every little stitch. But now that I know basic stitches, it's like, oh, I could follow along just fine. Another tip for YouTube tutorials is there is a playback speed function on YouTube, and you can slow it down. So if you find that people are going a little bit too fast, do that. I think it's in the like little gear thing, but you can change the speed of the tutorials and stuff. So that is the YouTube tip of the day there. Um, yeah, so we've got Ace Creates on YouTube, does a lot of Tunisian. Ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out. So yeah, because I follow Teal Yarn Crafts, Tony Lipsy for Tunisian. I put on yet another. I've got another whip now with Tunisian with her. So yeah, yeah. Tony Lipsy and Bella Coco Crochet are both of my teachers. Yeah, Bella Coco Crochet. I have to subscribe to her because I have not watched her videos, but I've heard of her. So yeah, slow motion is key for me. Yes. So yeah, in case anyone is going too fast, and that's something that I didn't realize, but then I noticed that some of the YouTubers have started mentioning that, like, hey, if I'm going too fast for you, change the speed and I'll go a lot, that way it'll go a lot slower, it'll be easier to follow. So yeah. So that's my YouTube tip of the day. But yeah. UK and US trims. Okay, great teacher. Yeah, there are a lot of really cool UK designers out there and YouTubers. So I'm just always adding more and more and more people to my YouTube. Yeah, good. I like giving tips. Uh, so yeah, I hope everyone had fun today. So we will Jesse will be back next week for as usual. So it will be at 11. Well, it's noon Eastern time. I'm in Central, so I always have to think about it. But it's 11 for me, so I'll be having lunch after I get off here. But yeah, I've enjoyed my time with you guys. Thank you so much for the conversation and good times. And yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys. I appreciate all of you that were watching and commenting. And hope you guys all have an awesome day as well. And get some crocheting done, or get some crocheting started, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I hope you enjoy your day. Have a great rest of your week, and I will be in the Crochet Foundry Makes group, doing admin and post on stuff too. So I will see you guys there. Have a great day.